All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 273 of the Restoring Rapport podcast. We're super excited for the content we've got planned out for you guys today, as always. This is a podcast for young believers who are pursuing the goal of marriage and family and trying to get married as young as possible in a healthy way. I'm your host, Seth Hensley. I come on twice a week, every week, to discuss not only the benefits of getting married young, but I attempt to equip and encourage you in your pursuit of that goal. And today, I'm really excited for this, guys. I'm going to be going over the best pickup truck date night ideas out there. And this is one that I was scrolling on the podcast social media to find good ideas for episodes, and I saw this guy who had transformed his truck into the most awesome date ever. And I'm going to show you that exact clip later in this episode. But first, I'm going to actually review an article going through another way that you can do this. And this is not a date that I would recommend for that you try to do all the time, because for two reasons. Number one, it kind of loses its significance and uniqueness if you do it all the time. But number two, I don't think you would actually end up doing it all the time. I think you would just burn yourself out because it is a rather difficult date to pull off. And it takes a lot of effort, energy, time, resources, etc. And so, if you try to do this every week, I feel like you're not going to end up going on any dates at all, and that would be the worst thing that you could do. And so, this is going to be something you want to do every once in a while, because that's a sustainable habit. If you want to learn more about sustainable habits, I would check out James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, or Jeremy Pryor, co-founder of Family Teams. They do a lot of good work on basically teaching you how to have a sustainable habit, a sustainable rhythm that you can then implement. And what they're all going to say is basically just start small. So instead of trying to plan this difficult date once a week, I would recommend trying to plan it maybe quarterly or annually or something like that, because then maybe for an anniversary or something like that, because then it's going to be a lot more sustainable in the long run. And you're more likely to actually do this date that way instead of, just wanting to do it. And so, anyway, I'm really excited for this episode because I love going through date ideas. That when I was a young single man pursuing the goal of marriage and family, which is who I'm talking to now, I really consumed a lot of content when it came to date ideas. Like, I would look up lots of date ideas in different areas, and that's basically all I watched on YouTube during that time. And so I'm trying to create the content that I consumed when I myself was my target audience. And so hopefully this generates a lot of value for you guys. If it does, reach out and let me know what this episode gave you as an idea, or B, how the date went. If you actually end up going on this date, please let me know how it went, or send in some photographs of your actual setup, or just talk about what you did during the day. I would love to hear that. It would inspire me to make more of these. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. The author is Christina Elliton. It was published on July 8th, 2021. And if you don't, I do want to say that all these dates are going to be, and all this episode's tools are going to be for people who have access to a pickup truck. If you, if you find yourself in a position where you don't have access to a pickup truck, you could borrow one or use somebody else's. Most people know somebody who has a pickup truck, even if they themselves don't have one. But if you have one, this is going to be a much easier for you to pull off. And so definitely recommend this for you if you have a pickup truck. She says, if you're looking for a creative, fun, and thoughtful way to share an anniversary or special event, a pickup truck date is a perfect romantic date night that is sure to impress. I'm going to share my screen for those of you who are subscribed to the show, and you can follow along with what the video content we're producing. If you want to follow along for free with the video content we're producing, just search Seth Hensley on YouTube, SETHHENSLEY, and all of our videos will pop up there as well. But as you can see, this just looks really cool. And you're probably starting to see at this point why there's a lot of effort going into this date. You can see he's put lots of pillows and blankets here in the back of the truck to make sort of a bed mattress type thing. He has a picnic basket with a table. He set up the toolbox on his truck with lots of candles, and he has lights hanging from beams that he's attached to his trucks. This is not something that you can just do quickly. This is something, like it says right here, happy anniversary on the banner. This is going to be something you want to do rarely, and make it a unique experience. And so that's when it's manageable to actually do one of these dates. She says, "This is one of my favorite anniversary dates ever. My amazing daughters turned their daddy's old pickup Ford truck into the most gorgeous fairy tale setting. The delicious food, cozy blankets, string lights, old photos. They thought of everything." So you can see here they have their anniversary photos from year to year to year. And the daughters actually set this up for their parents. So this is really cool. This is a date that they set up for their mom and dad, which is normally not how that works. I'm impressed. But she says, "Our girls worked so hard pouring their heart and soul into this. We were pampered, catered, and spoiled all day long on our 21st anniversary. Not only did they turn their daddy's old Ford truck into a gorgeous fairy tale setting, the food was exquisite. Even they even prepared and cooked all the food. Again, if you want to make this day easier, I wouldn't suggest necessarily preparing all the food yourself. I would actually make it easier on yourself there and do catering or buy food from somewhere. And because again, it's making it more sustainable. And if you want to make an impressive date like this, you're going to have to make certain things easier so that you actually make it happen. And so I wouldn't actually cook the food yourself unless you're feeling, really, really up to it. Then you could do that. But I just want you to actually try this because I think it would be a great idea, and you're less likely to try, I think, if it's too daunting a task. And so just be aware of that, and make certain things as easy as you can. She says it was the sweetest gift from our daughters because they wanted us to be able to celebrate our anniversary even when we were in the middle of a pandemic. So this was a good pandemic date. I think this is a good date for any time, though, honestly. I mean, I would love this date just literally any time that there was good weather. And so the weather is going to be something that you're going to want to be aware of on this date. So again, trying to be the trouble with this one is, though, that you can't really be spontaneous because it's for anniversaries and stuff. And so you don't really have control over when you do it. However, I would be a little flexible here, and you don't even have to do this on your exact anniversary, but like just go out like the week of your anniversary or celebrate it around your anniversary with this. And it would be something really special, I think. But here she has a subheading that says, "What is a pickup truck date?" And here we're going to get kind of a few more ideas on what it actually is. She says, "Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. A date in the back of a truck with the one you love. If you have a truck, then you are halfway there. If you don't own a truck, you could always borrow one." So exactly what I said. You don't have to have a pickup truck for this date, but if you do have one, it's going to be a lot easier on you. I personally don't have a pickup truck, and so this date would be a little bit harder for me to do, but I would love to actually try this one day, especially when I actually have a truck one day. And so she says, "Why have a truck date? A pickup truck date is the perfect date when you want to go above and beyond to impress the one you love." And that is, I think, the biggest strength of this date. I mean, if you look at this scenery that this guy's created, he's pulled the truck. Well, actually, it's the kids in this scenario. But what you would do is you would pull this truck into a place with a great view, probably around sunset or something. You would set up lights using these little antennae or poles that you could attach to the bed of your truck. Just anything like that. And you're probably going to have to buy those, honestly, unless you can make them yourself. And then he's got flowers out, pictures, happy anniversary banner, blankets, pillows in the bed. Awesome stuff here. But you can see why it just takes a lot of work. And so she says there is a little more thought into making this kind of day extra special than your typical restaurant date. You can't help but feel extra loved when someone else takes the time to put all this together just for you. I would agree. She says the wonderful thing about a truck date is you can set it up anywhere at any time. You don't have to worry about reservations, crowded restaurants, or even the hour. That's true. Our girls set everything up even when it was a bit cooler, but they made sure we had plenty of daylight before it was dark. They found a perfect view in one of our fields to park the truck to make sure it was a beautiful spot. If you live out in the country like we do, keep in mind the darker it gets, the more bugs. They are worse the farther out you live. This particular night was just so beautiful. The sky, the clouds, and everything about the night was perfect. Yeah, anytime you're doing a camping date or an outdoor date, you're going to want to have citronella candles or something burning to keep the insects away. I would say coupled with bug spray, just so that you're not harassed constantly. If you have an enclosed mesh space, that would also be a good thing that you could do. But again, that's kind of dreaming at this point. We just need to make this as practical as possible so you can do it. But I think this is a great idea. I mean, I love the look of it here. Here she has a list of what you're actually going to need. So if you're one of those people who actually likes a list laid out for him or her in order to pull one of these dates off, and this is going to be really helpful for you. She says that you're going to need blankets and pillows. Those are probably the biggest two, I would say, that's going to make this truck bed comfortable. I would also add, if you have a blow-up mattress, I don't know what size would actually fit in the back of a standard pickup truck, but I would say Like definitely a twin would fit between the wheel wells, but probably a queen. I'll actually look that up for you guys on air so that you know the exact answer to that, kind of what size blow up mattress would be good. If you don't have a blow up mattress, though, like she says, blankets and pillows are good. String lights, fruit, drinks, snacks, candles. The fruit, drink, snacks, that's just kind of up to you. It's like whatever you wanted to eat during the date is up to you. I would say they chose those because they're finger foods and they're easy. And so you could do something like that, or you could do a full blown meal. Again, up to you. But old photos they recommend on those little strings, those are pretty good. Clothespins and string, these are good. I would also say though that these two, the old photos and the clothespins and string, those are not necessary. Those are just things you can throw in. I would use Christmas lights or some kind of string light that you can run from pole to pole. That I feel like would make it really special, regardless of the occasion. And you can use that for any occasion. If it's an anniversary, just a plain old regular date, if it's something that you do during the holidays, anything would work. Lights are good for anything like that. Flowers, that's good. A bit basket for a mini table. You are going to want something. This is, I think, a really big one. You're going to want a surface to set drinks and food down on. So I actually have a really good idea that I'm excited to show you guys about. In the video that I'm going to show you of this guy who came up with this, he basically made a custom table for the back of his truck that basically sits over top of your legs like a sort of like a lap desk, and it has cup holders and things for you to put popcorn in, and it's just really cool. I can't wait to show you. And he made it himself, and the amazing thing is it wouldn't be that hard to do if you just took, you know, a piece of wood, a fairly wide piece of wood, and drilled a hole in it the size of a cup, and then made some other things for it. You could sit those, you know, party solo cups in these and have popcorn holders and candy holders and things like this. And he does it really good. So I'm excited to show you this. But a basket or a mini table, the point there is you're going to want to have something to sit down your drinks and snacks and food on. And so just keep that in mind. You're probably going to want to do that, is what I would say. But yeah, moving on with this article, this is really good here. So continuing on with her list, she has a pop-up mesh food cover, ice bucket, banner, optional, meal and dessert already prepared. Have someone prepare it. Again, I would buy it. I wouldn't put more work on yourself here on preparing a meal, just because the actual setup of the date is going to be big enough. And again, you want to make sure it's not so big that you can't make it happen. Like again, if you plan this extraordinary date, it's got to actually be implementable. You can't just dream it and then it have the effect you want it to have. It can't strengthen your connection if it's just in your head, in other words. And so in order to actually, for this date to actually build a memory with you and your significant other, you've got to actually put it into motion. And so don't make it so big that you can't make it happen, but make it significant and special as much as you can. She says, our daughters thought of everything from the cozy blankets, on photos, string lights, candles, flowers, anniversary banner, and the food. We were served a fresh fruit tray, followed by a gourmet dinner. My oldest daughter's amazing avocado lime grilled chicken. It was absolutely delicious. Of course, you do not have to go to this extreme, especially if you do everything yourself. She's got a good point there. And you might say, well, why wouldn't I do everything myself? I really love my spouse. And it's like, okay, yeah, but you want to try to actually make this happen. Again, I keep saying that, but like, I feel like some people are dreamers and they come up with this huge plan, and then because it's such a daunting task that they've created for themselves, they just never do it. And so they never get the benefit of the date. And so make it to the point where you can make it happen. And another thing that these habit coaches will tell you, like again, James Clear or Jeremy Pryor, is they'll tell you make a routine or a rhythm sustainable. And then once you've done that, once you've set a small goal for yourself, an easy goal that you then can fulfill, then you can start adding more difficult things onto it once you've done it several times in practice. Because just with anything, practice makes perfect. You get better at what you do. So if you do this day over and over and then start adding the more difficult things like cooking your own gourmet dinner, it's a much more manageable task, because the first step of setting up a truck date becomes super easy for you. And so just don't go too big on the first attempt at a pickup truck date is basically what I'm trying to say. She says finger foods would work great too, much easier as well. Our girls made sure to have our favorite love songs playing in the background, which only made the night extra special. Highly recommend. Definitely would do this one. Bluetooth speakers are so easy to come by, and everybody has one now. If you don't have one, you can get one probably for like $30 on Amazon. Definitely worth the investment, because you're going to use that across many, many dates that I recommend on this show. And so that's going to be a huge investment, not only for your relationship with your spouse right now. But when you get married and start hosting events for young couples or for Bible studies or things like this, you're going to want to have a speaker that can inconspicuously fit into a corner of the room and create an atmosphere with sound. And so definitely do that. You will get your money's worth there with that speaker. She says, after we served dinner, we talked, reminisced, and laughed over the best time. It was truly the best night and one of our favorite anniversaries ever. Here's kind of this is the image I want to go over really well because this is exactly what it looked like. It's the first wide shot we've gotten. They have what looks like green bean steaks or poles or something stuck down into the cover hole of this truck bed, and so it would be super easy to set up, and that's why they did it. Their back two poles that are attached to the cab, those would be a little bit more difficult to pull off. I feel like I don't know exactly how they did that, how they attached those, but you could find a way to do it. Sometimes truck beds will have little rings that are designed for you to be able to put hooks in and store and keep stuff from blowing out of your truck bed on the highway. They have like little hook spots. You could probably attach a pole there somehow, but just look in the back of your own truck bed or the truck bed that you're borrowing and see how you can kind of set that up. They have lights running from pole to pole. That is my favorite part of this whole thing. You will probably want an extension cord. So that would mean you probably have to be near a house. If you don't have a battery operated pack, my wife and I actually have battery operated lights for our room that are really, really cool and are motion sensor too. So when she gets out of bed, she doesn't have to go blind, fumble her way blind to the bathroom. And so I would recommend those. If you want to use those, definitely would recommend them. And again, they're battery powered. Some of them are, some of them aren't. So you just got to check and see what you want. But they also have little candles set up on the toolbox here. They have their little anniversary sign and flowers. Again, make sure the actual bed is comfortable. The bed of the truck is comfortable, because if it's not comfortable, you probably won't spend as much time there, and that could sabotage the effectiveness of this date. And so just make sure that is as comfortable as possible. But I just love their setup here. I mean, look at that, guys. Is that not like the best date you've ever seen as far as the atmosphere goes? I mean, can you imagine that? And there are things in this picture that we're not even seeing too. Like he probably has some music going there. This is just an awesome date. So as the evening went on, she says we were served dessert made by our youngest daughter. She makes the absolute best chocolate chip cookies and topped it off with vanilla ice cream and chocolate sauce. Everything gluten-free and dairy-free, of course. Later on, we enjoyed our desserts. Our daughters joined us, and we had some great conversation and definitely wonderful memories that we will never forget. And so this has just been an awesome look. Here's one more picture they got of their family. This is an awesome date that they have done. And I want to show you now a practical video example of how you can set this up. Because it's an Instagram reel, it happens really fast. People edit these reels to be really fast. So I'm going to kind of pause as I go through and just show you exactly what this guy's doing. So first step, he's pulled the truck up to a really beautiful scenic location. Some of us are not going to have access to this, but if you do, would definitely recommend it. I mean, look at that view. He's backed his truck right up to this stunning overlook over this valley here. And he's actually a dad, but this would work for anybody who has a pickup truck again. So let's watch this and see kind of what he's doing. He opens the bed. He has all his blankets piled up there, all his pillows. And he did the same thing that this last couple did. See this right here? He put again, for those of you who are listening to the podcast on the podcast platforms, this episode might be better for you to go to YouTube and listen to just because of the visuals. But he put the poles in those holes in the bed of his truck, on the ridge of his truck. And so those are going to be the things that you want to use, I think, for the actual beams to use for your lights. Now, you're going to see this guy. He's going to do something different with those poles that I'm really excited to show you. But moving on here. In fact, while he's doing that, I might check the size of the blow-up mattress. And let me just Google that really quickly. What size blow-up mattress will fit in a truck bed? Okay, full or double-sized mattress. That's the size that you're going to want to fit in the back of a truck. So not a queen. You need a full or double-sized mattress to fit in the back of a truck. A full or double-sized mattress will fit in the back of a truck. At least that's what Google's results said. But moving on, he's got his blow-up mattress here. I could almost, if I could zoom in, I could almost read what size he's got. But we know it's probably a full or double-sized. and he blows it up. Oh, look at this. Okay, this is something. Man, I would actually invest in this. Okay, so guys, he doesn't have just a regular full or double sized mattress. Do you see these seams here? These are actually made, I bet, so that the wheel wells of the truck do not impede the mattress. And so, in order to fit really nicely into his truck bed, he's actually bought this mattress for this exact occasion. He's bought a blow up mattress that is made for a truck bed. And see, it has these little cavities for the wheel well. So it fits perfectly into the back of that truck. I would actually recommend, if you think this is a date that you're going to do over and over and you're a truck bed, or if you're a pickup truck owner, I would actually recommend buying one of these, because look at this. He's got, again, it's the perfect little, you don't want the mattress folding up like a taco because of these wheel wells. And so you're going to want to have this exact truck bed mattress, and you could probably get that on Amazon. I'll actually include the link to one of those mattresses, those blow up mattresses, in the show notes for you guys, so that you can order it straight from this podcast page or the YouTube page, and because that would be really cool. And then he puts his blankets down here. It gets everything looking all nice. Has several blankets. You can't have too many, especially because you're probably going to be doing this in the cold. And then he has his lights strung around the rim of the truck there. Really, really nice. And this is where he's going to put up the movie screen. And you guys probably may have seen this coming, but look at that view, man. He's got, and then he puts the projector on the cab of the truck. And then this is where the table comes in. So look, but first of all, look at this view. I mean, this just blew me away. This is like my favorite date that I've ever seen. I love outdoor movies. I love like projected movies on the ceiling where you can lay back and watch them. This, though, is something I really want to try. He's got a movie screen on the back of his truck. He's got a beautiful view, a stunning panoramic view behind the screen. He's got a comfortable area to lay down. And then look at this table he's made. It's just a piece of wood that he's drilled perfectly sized holes in order to house a cup or a candy or a popcorn or something like that. Wow, that is absolutely beautiful. Look at that. He has this popcorn bucket holders, and then these top two are probably the drink holders. That is just perfect. Look at that. And this wouldn't be that difficult to make. If you have power tools, access to power tools, this would be, you could do this in just a couple minutes. And he's custom made this for his truck. That is just perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then he has this popcorn there. The drinks, yeah, it holds a pop. Looks like in a juice. It's the size for a pop in a juice. What is that, chapstick? He's got chapstick holders there. Oh, he's got holders for a phone and for candy. And what you're going to actually see this guy do is he has this date set up to where him and his wife actually have children. And so he set this date up to where that candy in the middle is for them. They put their kids right here in the middle, and then they sit on the edges. So the dad's here, the mom's here, and the kids are here in the middle, and they can all watch the TV show together. So this is kind of a family date, but you could absolutely implement this for a two-person date, and you would actually have more room that way. And so this is just really cool. I love this. Let's see what else he does. He turns the lights on to complete the look. Again, I don't know exactly. That projector might be the weak point in how I'm envisioning myself do this, because I have a projector. Actually, my dad has a projector that I borrow, but I don't think it would fit on the top of a truck as well as the one he's got. But it would still work. You would just have to have your laptop on the top of the truck there. Really cool. I would be curious as to how he's getting power to his laptop. I guess he could just have the laptop fully charged, and the projector might be a wireless one or a cordless one, battery operated or something, chargeable projector. I don't know. But you might want to invest in those, or if you do this close to home, if you have a location that you would like to basically do this date in every time, then you could just use an extension cord. You wouldn't have to have cordless equipment, but they do have Bluetooth laptops projectors now that are cordless, and they're also really nice that way. You'll obviously have to keep them charged and everything, but I think that in this scenario, it might be worth it, especially if you're not going to be out there watching a show for a long time. What I would do if I had a Bluetooth projector and a pickup truck is pull up to the beautiful panoramic view and have everything set out, maybe have a little snack, and then watch the sunset. And then as it gets dark, then bust out the screen and then use the projector battery towards the tail end of the date. So that basically, even if the projector battery doesn't last super long, I don't know how these Bluetooth projectors last, but even if it doesn't last super long, the date has already kind of run its course at that point. But just look at that. Absolutely stunning view. He's got his wife and kids out here now, and they climb in, kids in the middle, the parents on the end. That is just perfect. That is literally, I think that's the best, one of the best dates I've ever seen in my life. And this is just some guy. It's the Dad Social on Instagram. If you want to follow him, Morgan Wallen. Oh no, that's the song he's playing. The Dad's Social on Instagram is his handle. If you want to go follow him there, but man, I thought that was the most perfect date ever. And I hope you guys have actually gotten some ideas for how you can implement this truck date. If you have a pickup truck, again, I could not recommend this date more. This date is so amazing that it's making me want a pickup truck. And so definitely try this. And if you do try it, let me know what you learned and how I can improve the content I put out in this episode. Give me tips or pointers. Put those in the comments for people who watch the video after you do this date so they can see what went wrong and kind of how you solved it, or remind them to bring something that I didn't mention. Again, just to go back over it, you're going to want to have a pickup truck, either borrowed or your own. You're going to want to have bedding. Make sure the bed of the truck is really comfortable. I will include, again, the link to that mattress that is made specifically for the bed of a truck with the wheel well cavities in the link in the show notes. So you can go and order that straight from our page. Make sure if you are going to have a movie, you have a screen. Again, the poles are critical for this, not only for lights, but if you want to do a movie screen, you're going to have the poles. Have like a table or a surface to set your food and drink on. And you're going to want to have lots of blankets and pillows because, again, most of these dates you're going to want to have a cool environment for. And a lot of the years is, just face it, cold. And so you don't want to be limited by that. Again, pull in somewhere that has a nice view, and this is just so cool. Don't forget your protector and laptop. I would have, again, run this date beforehand. Make sure that you've set this date up exactly as you're going to set it up for your woman on. And you don't want to, again, you don't want to try this date the first time when you're with your significant other. You want to have this down pat before you bring your woman along on this date. Because again, you're going to know everything that can go wrong. You're going to know the snags in the road, and you're not going to be surprised by problems that you encounter. And so thank you guys so much for listening. If you try this date, again, please reach out and let me know what you thought of it through the link in the show notes. You can send me that personalized audio voice message. I would love to hear from you. It would make us feel more connected as a podcast producer and audience, and it would make this podcasting system two-way. You can also follow the Restoring Rapport podcast on Instagram and Facebook if you're interested in the content we post there as well, and YouTube. Don't forget to check out our YouTube channel, just Seth Hensley, SethHunsley, and then follow us for our video content there as well. So thank you guys so much for listening today, and we will talk to you all next time.